Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Podcast. I'm excited to have you here today as we embark on a journey to enhance your English vocabulary. In this series, we're focusing on 100 common English words in daily communication. These words are essential for effective conversation and will help you express yourself more confidently in English. So, let's dive right in and start with our first 20 words. Are you ready? Let's go. Our first word is actually. Actually. This adverb means in fact or really. It's used to emphasize the truth of something, especially when it contrasts with what someone else might think. For example, you could say, "It's actually a great idea." This highlights that the idea is genuinely great, despite any doubts. Another example is, "So what actually happened?" Here, you're looking for the real story behind a situation. Next, we have agree. Agree. This verb means to have the same opinion as someone else. It's important for building connections and understanding in conversations. For instance, you might say, "I agree with you completely." This shows you fully support the other person's view. You could also say, "I agree, that sounds wonderful," when you want to encourage a friend's suggestion. Almost. Almost means nearly or not quite. It's often used when you're close to completing something, but haven't finished yet. For example, you could say, "I'm almost ready." This means you're very close to being ready, but just need a little more time. Now, let's look at always. Always. It means at all times or forever. It indicates consistency or a habitual action. For instance, you might say, "She always helps me with my homework." This shows that her assistance is a regular occurrence. Ask. Ask. This verb means to request information or make an inquiry. You can use it in a sentence like, "Can I ask you something?" This is a polite way to request information or start a conversation. Because. Because. This conjunction is used to introduce a reason for something. For example, you might say, "I stayed home because it was raining." Here, because explains the reason for staying home. Next up is believe. Believe. This verb means to accept something as true, often without proof. For instance, you could say, "I believe in you." This expresses confidence in someone's abilities or potential. Better. Better. This adjective is used to describe something of superior quality or improved condition. For example, you might say, "This coffee tastes better." This indicates that the coffee you are comparing it to is of higher quality or more enjoyable. Now, let's look at change. Change. This verb means to make something different or to alter. You can use it in a sentence like, "I need to change my schedule." This means you want to modify your plans or routines. Common. Common. This adjective refers to something that occurs frequently or is widespread. For example, you might say, "It's common to say thank you." This highlights that expressing gratitude is a frequent social practice. Decide. Decide. This verb means to make a choice or come to a resolution. For example, you could say, "I decided to stay home." This shows that you made a choice to not go out. Next, we have different. Different. This adjective describes something that is not the same as something else. For instance, you might say, "This approach is different from the last one." This indicates that you are comparing two distinct methods. Our next word is difficult. Difficult. This adjective means not easy, it requires effort or skill. For example, you could say, that exam was difficult. This implies that the exam posed a challenge to you. Now, let's look at easy. Easy. This adjective describes something that is not hard to do or understand. You might say, it's easy to learn English with practice. This suggests that with enough practice, learning English can be straightforward. Our next word is enough. Enough. This determiner or adjective means as much as necessary. For example, you could say, do you have enough money? Here, you are inquiring whether someone has a sufficient amount of money. Next, we have enjoy. Enjoy. This verb means to take pleasure in something. For instance, you might say, I enjoy reading in my free time. This indicates that you find pleasure in reading. Our next word is explain. Explain. This verb means to make something clear or understandable. For example, you could say, can you explain the instructions? This shows that you want clarification about the instructions. Now, let's talk about feel. Feel. This verb refers to experiencing an emotion or sensation. For instance, you might say, I feel happy today. This expresses an emotional state you are experiencing. Our next word is find. Find. This verb means to discover or locate something. You could say, I need to find my keys. This indicates that you are looking for your keys. Forget. Forget. This verb means to fail to remember something. For example, you might say, I always forget names. This indicates a common struggle you face in remembering people's names. And that wraps up our video for today. We've just covered the first 20 words in our series on 100 common English words in daily communication. We hope you found this helpful and that you're excited to continue expanding your vocabulary with us. Stay tuned for the next episode, where we'll introduce more useful words to enhance your English skills. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to English Podcast for more language tips. See you next time.